Hey everyone, I'm Blumineck and I'm going to be talking you through my character build and rolling some stats for min-max. So first off, the obvious stuff. I am the archer of the group, and while there's a bunch of different classes and ways that you can make that work, the obvious one and the one that I feel like I have to go for is ranger. In my short video about this, I justified this by saying that all the other classes I wanted to do were taken, but realistically, I spend my time wandering around outdoors without shoes on, climbing trees and shooting arrows. It kind of just fits. But the other reason that I wanted to play a ranger is that I actually really like them. They're often the butt of the joke in D&D because when you just look at comparing numbers, they tend to fall very unfavorably compared with things like a decent optimized fighter build or a rogue or basically anything else. But I have played several rangers, some of them in long-running campaigns, and I tend to find them very, very fun. They've got a lot of different options that they can do in most combat scenarios and most out-of-combat scenarios that keeps them feeling fresh and versatile, and every now and then you can just kind of switch up how you play them. The other thing, of course, is that I'm aiming to make a build here that is at least vaguely approximating the stuff I get up to on my channel. And the issue with that is that my channel is very performative. It's a lot of high energy stuff, it's a lot of movements, there's some dance involved occasionally, and that definitely fits more of a charisma build rather than a wisdom. But fortunately, there is a subclass for ranger that runs on that, so I'm going to be playing the Fey Wanderer. And the Fey Wanderer is basically a regular ranger who has spent some time around the Fey and the fairies, and it has given them a little bit of bardiness. They've got the ability to use their wisdom in charisma checks. It makes them that little bit more charismatic, and it gives them a few spells that allow them to charm people and features that basically have that kind of edge to them. And while obviously any kind of magic user in D&D is going to have abilities that I simply do not possess, the fact that a Fey Wanderer can teleport around the battlefield fits my video editing style fairly well, even if it's not something that I can actually do in real life. Species-wise, I've got to go elf. I normally prefer something slightly weirder, but the common consensus among my commenters is that I embody the qualities of an elf. And to be honest, I can see where they're coming from. So we're going to go with that, although I might rebel a little bit by doing a weirder variety of elf. But before we go much further, I need to roll some stats, and I'm going to let you in on a secret. I already rolled them. You see, a few weeks ago, before we even launched the crowdfunding, we had a meeting in which Tater told us how to roll our stats. And I got excited and the very next day filmed them and sent them to him. See, in that initial meeting, Tater had told us to roll 4d6, re-roll ones, and then drop the lowest. But as everybody else started to roll their dice, I realized none of them were re-rolling ones. And given that I'd rolled mine several weeks ago and I was already feeling guilty about how good they were, I started to panic. I also filmed them in portrait before we'd really decided what we were doing, so I'm just going to kind of stand here awkwardly. Okay, that's a decent start. Yes! Okay, please tell me you can see that. Please, please. 18. Okay, come on. 5, 6, 3, 6 plus 8 is... I can't do maths. 14. Okay. 15. Another 14. 18, 14, 15, 14. That's 4 rolls. Come on, I need something lower. That's a 17. That's more realistic. That's a 9. Okay, at least I've got one negative stat. I wanted a good spread, but that's crazy. So we have a stat spread. I got to plug them into my character. Obvious one is that we're going to stick dexterity as the highest because we're using bows, and also acrobatics, so it kind of fits. Secondly is I'm going to go wisdom as my next one. That's all my spells, anything like that. It also, for this build, can counteract the fact that I'm going to put charisma as my dump stat. Now, the logic behind this is because I'm trying to replicate me, and I am an awkward person at heart, naturally. And if I meet somebody in a social scenario I wasn't expecting, it takes me a while to process. So instinctively, my character is not very good at social interaction, but they have built up through their wisdom an ability to do performances and things like that, and we're going to double down on that by putting expertise in performance. So I've got a pretty good performance check, despite my charisma stat, in theory, being low. That leaves me free to put some decent stats into Constitution for wandering barefoot in December, Strength for jumping around, and Intelligence for having 2 science degrees and knowing a little bit about history. For background, I'm not 100% sure yet because I hate the way that they work in 2024. There are so many different aspects that you're trying to get to fit your character, and there's always going to be something that feels way out of place. But because we're starting at level 5, I get to choose a feat at level 4. And I'm going to completely ignore the obvious choice of sharpshooter because I actually really don't like the way it removes all the nuances of using a bow, and instead I'm going to take speedy, which gives me a nice risk reward where I'm better at moving out of range than most people, but it's still got a chance that I'm going to get hit. And it gives me loads of movement to play with if I want to do things like climbing over difficult terrain or dancing on a pole. And now I just need to convince Tater to let me have a magic dance pole, and we've got a build.